Okay, hello everybody. I was going to broadcast live on Facebook, but it's not working. Anyway, I'm at London Heathrow, and today I'm going to be flying from here to, I get the pronunciation right, Le Touquet Côte d'Opale. I think that's how you say it. En France. So I'll say hello, bonjour. We are off to the continent, and I've already set the put in the flight plan. Had some trouble with that. I'm still not sure it's going to work out the way I wanted it to. I thought I would be taking off from runway 27 here, but they right or left, but they want me to go runway 9. At least wouldn't let me do anything else here. So let's see what the tower has to say about that. I just wonder where they're going to send me. I'm just going to say I want to go east. Let's see if they give me runway 9. No. Tried to remember all that would be the extreme Alzheimer's test. Alright, well, that's what I'll do. 27 right is the active runway, that and 27 left. But when I tried to program a departure in here, wouldn't let me do anything except runway 9. So go figure. So I'll have to do some maneuvering by hand to get on course once we're in the air. I expect this is going to be a long alphabet soup of taxiing. It's a big airport, and I'm going to follow these taxi ribbons, so I've already gassed up. Have full tanks just in case I do a missed approach and have to go around in France. So release the parking brake, and I guess I have to go over that way. Well, they don't want me to mess up their grass. Okay, so this is going to be a lot of taxiing. I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm going to stop talking until I get to the runway. So the holding position for a plane that's on final, a generic that is generated by the artificial intelligence. It's not another simmer, although there are a lot of them in the area here, all of these IDs. Okay, I'm holding short of the runway, and I still don't see anybody coming. Unless that's it up there. I believe that's it. UAE 5. I suppose that would be United Arab Emirates. And you can see from the flashing lights below the label, there's a plane there. So we'll just wait and watch it land. This is turning out to be less boring than I thought it would be. While I'm sitting here, so these IDs are all other simmers. That says GEN. That means it's not. It's generic, generated by the sim. This is a generic. That's what they're talking about. Just crossing about 600-700 feet, almost to the runway. Could take me 40 minutes to get out of here at this rate. So sitting here at runway would be 27 left, I think. Can't read that. Waiting for this plane to land, and here it comes. Holding for this traffic. And as soon as they go by, I'll probably get the green light to cross the runway. I hope he doesn't turn this way. Looks like a big plane, 2 decks. Now what?
Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha. Hold position caution, the generic on final.
I am. Looks like it's going to run me over. Are you going to turn or what?
Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha, acknowledge last transmission.
All right.
Hold
There we
position,
go.
Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha.
Where's that guy going? So that's one of those big, whatchamacallit planes, you know, Boeing's competition that I suddenly can't remember the name of. 2 big decks, 2 decks. They need special gates. And there's one more coming in here. We're never going to get out of this airport. Remind me not to come here again. Here comes the other generic. Wow, it's busy here. Okay. I've probably been holding here for 10 minutes. Okay, across the runway, I had to wait for 2 other planes to land, and I was waiting a long time, and I didn't want to wait any longer. I will stop and look before I cross this runway. So the big plane we saw was an Airbus, and I forget the model number, but it's a wide body with 2 decks that carries hundreds of passengers, and we've actually flown on them a couple of times.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 27 right.
Okay, so we're ready to go. So acknowledge that.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 27 right, Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha.
Wind up. And I'm going to cruise at 5,000 feet because we're just going to fly over the channel. Didn't need a lot of altitude for that. So anyway, flaps would be good. There we go. Gears up. Positive climb about 10 degrees.
Altimeter 29.47 winds 2.
Pitched up 5 degrees, I think.
Cleared ILS.
Laps.
27 right approach.
So,
Oscar Hotel Alpha. Continue for east departure. Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha. Leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
now I have to get turned around to get on course.
Cleared ILS runway 27 right approach. Finnair 1339er.
So I think I'll make a left turn now. Nice view of the airport as I turn back to the way I was going to go. That's about as good as you're going to get at Heathrow. So right now, for anybody who hasn't watched this before, the lower left screen over here is the primary flight display with all the information you need to know about your plane at any one minute. It's all there on that glass screen. And I'm now going to hit nav, and we're going to turn onto our course. And I'm also going to put in some, well, I think I'm going to hit flight level change. And something I discovered the other day, I never used that. It will take us, you set flight level change, it goes to the altitude you set, the autopilot does, which is 5,000 feet, what I've set, and I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to mess around with the vertical speed. The autopilot takes care of that. So right now I can look around at the scenery and stop worrying about trimming the aircraft. And we're really moving 190 knots, getting up on our cruise altitude almost. So why not go all the way to Paris? Well, from London, because it's too long for me. I don't want to spend 2 hours flying in the sim. I have other things to do. So I just take it in short hops. Although it looks like we're going to be doing a lot of looping the loop here, so that's going to add some miles to our flight today. So this is the multifunction display down here. And there's the flight plan. And the departure was ostensibly from runway 9. There was a I knew the active runway was 27 because I checked the weather before I started. And there's a nice website where I can go and get a graphic representation instead of a lot of numbers and abbreviations I don't understand and don't want to. And so graphically it showed me that the active runways were to take off were 27 left and right, 27 L and R. And the active runway at the other end is 31, which would be in the same direction also towards the west. Now if they suddenly tell me to change to a different approach, that'll be problematic. Anyway, that's what I set it up for, the flight plan. So I had no way to change the departure to what I wanted, which I'll show you up here in the chart. So I'll zoom in on that. Well, this was the way I was expecting to go, and instead we're going a completely different way. And all my waypoints have probably changed for that matter, because this flight plan now doesn't represent anything compared to what I was expecting. Departure procedures are specific ways, airlanes, to leave an airport, just as an approach procedures direction for arriving there to your destination. And anyway, I expected a certain departure and could not program it in. Let's get the approach chart up. It is an area navigation approach with vertical guidance, so it's entirely GPS. Let's see where we are on this thing. Oh, I don't know why we got to do all this looping around, but it's going to add quite a bit of time to this flight. Well, we'll certainly get a scenic tour of Greater London. Okay, so this is our approach, and we have to get down to 2,000 feet at this waypoint, EGLL. And after that, I think I'll have vertical guidance all the way to the runway, because that's my hope. That's what the chart says. Yeah, that's what's promised by the chart. So take another look at that. It says LPV. That's localizer performance with vertical guidance. So it works just like, just as if you were following a ground-based signal, except it's satellite guided. And what do you know? There's Heathrow over there. We're still only 12 miles from Heathrow. We haven't got anywhere yet. Well, I think about now we may be actually heading to France. This is my hope. We really should be down here. That's us. That's me there. And that's still not headed the right way. There's another turn coming up here to the right. And this is the weirdest, one of the weirder departures I've ever run up against.
for Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha.
Good day.
Going to 132.7 Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha. Thames approach Beechcraft Alpha Lima Oscar Hotel Alpha 5.
Alors, mes amis, nous allons finalement en France. We're finally headed toward the east. What's our heading? 144 degrees. That's, well, call it south-southeast. And one of these days we'll be over the channel and then doing our approach into the Toqueco do Palo. Okay, I just started vertical navigation so that we will get vertical guidance to the runway at the Toqueco do Palo, which is a mouthful. Otherwise, they call the international letters, whatever you call it, for that airport is LFAT. The LF probably stands for La France. So at this point, we're about 85 miles from the initial approach fix. So we did all this looping around, and now we're going to get on course. It's the plane, our plane, my plane. Let's pretend it's our plane. And we're going to come in here at whatever that waypoint is. Well, there are a lot of intervening waypoints between where we are and here. That's EGLL. By then we'll be well over the coast, over the French, past the French coastline. What if you, you're some wealthy dude and you had a plane like this and you were taking your family on a trip and the kids kept yelling from the back seat, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" So the altimeter settings keep changing en route, and when I changed it, the autopilot discovered we were several hundred feet higher than we were supposed to be. The temperature outside is a nice warm 20 degrees Fahrenheit, or where's it over here? Minus 6 degrees Celsius. Anyway, it's a little frigid out there. And I turned on the de-icing, all the de-icing, before we took off. And I like this plane for this weather because it has full de-icing, propped windshield, propped airframe, meaning the wings and whatnot, so you won't ice over, stall, and crash, which is kind of nice. Well, I just did some back of the envelope or scratch pad calculations on our actual true airspeed, which is 187, 188 knots, and that works out to about 282 miles an hour. So we're moving along pretty sprightly.
120.705 Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha.
So we should close the distance really only less than 58 miles to go now to EGLL, the initial approach fix. And when I get closer, I'm going to arm the approach, which is loaded into the flight plan. And we should start a descent to 2,000 feet. Since we're going to be passing through clouds and the temperature outside is freezing by at least 10 degrees Fahrenheit, good thing we have de-icing, because this is where you can pick up the ice in the clouds at these frigid temperatures. This is the weather over England and France at this hour, at least. Everything should be accurate except the time of day, which I changed so I could see something. I don't really want to fly at night and miss all the scenery. But the weather is streamed through the internet, as is all the scenery. Wonders of modern broadband technology. So we're closing in on the channel up here. I didn't program all these intervening waypoints, so all this doesn't really matter. I didn't really need to. I just needed to get to the initial approach fix, as I said, is about here. And before I get there, I'm going to slow down a bit. That's our initial approach fix, and then everything else is same altitude, 2,000 until final descent to the runway. And here's the channel. We're crossing the English coastline and heading over the channel now. A lot of white caps down there. Look at the wave action. That's pretty cool. So I'm just taking a close look at the MFD, the multi-function display. And what's this? TOD, top of descent. That's where I really need to be at, well, 2,000 feet. So I think I'm going to arm the approach now. Too early to arm it. I will try to call the tower over there. Okay, tower.
LE2 with Tower Beechcraft Alpha Lima Oscar Hotel Alpha is 25 miles northwest 5,000 feet with echo to land.
Beechcraft Alpha Lima Oscar Hotel Alpha Lima with Tower. Altimeter 29.50 wind 289er at 52. Make left traffic runway 31.
Make left traffic runway 31 Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha.
Alright. I'm going to slow. We have our landing clearance to the runway. I'm going to go down to 2,000 now. I've got 18 miles to get down there, so it shouldn't be a problem. And there's France. Bonjour Angleterre, vive la France. LAFAT, nous avons arrivé. Or something like that. I'm slowing so I won't overrun that. Won't overrun this. I've got to be at 2,000 feet by the time I get there, and still have 15 miles to go. Have to descend another 1,200, 1,300 feet. And I got to make sure I don't stall the plane in the meantime. So this is where you could pick up ice. It's still freezing out there. Now I don't know why this is called Paris Plage. That's not what they call it. But fortunately I knew the call letters, so I went by LAFAT. LAFAT. Plage is of course beach, I believe. Playa in Espanol, plage in French, and it's at the beach, so yeah. So we're 12 miles from the airport, but we're gonna fly past and come around, landing over that way. And coming up on 2,000 feet. It's like a rainy day over here. Well, this visibility, limited visibility, could make landing more interesting. So we're at altitude, and now I'm going to reduce it some more. And now I'm going to rearm the nav and try to arm the approach. Can't arm it. When the approach is armed, if vertical navigation is working, it should, this white VPTH VPAT should go green. But I haven't been able to do that yet. So I'm going to try to arm the approach again at EGLL. I think we're picking up some rain at this point. And the temperature's just a little above freezing, 3 degrees Celsius. There we go, we got feedback. It went green. So here we go. We've got VNAV. And it's raining, folks. And I have to slow down. Wow. So this is Microsoft Flight Sim Live Weather at its most challenging. And there's the airport over there. 5 miles to the right. Just, whoops, what happened? There we go. Now I've got the approach. Okay, got VPath and glide path. Alright, what happened there? I let the airspeed slip because I wasn't paying attention. The plane wanted to stall. So I pushed the nose down because the last thing you want to do in a situation like that is raise the nose. That'll just make it worse. Well, this is going to be one of my more challenging landings. And at this point, I'm not sure where we are in relation to the glide path. That airspeed keeps slipping, so I really have to pay attention to that. I think we're below the glide path at this point. The plane wants to climb to 2,000 feet. I'm going to let it. So our next waypoint is also 2,000 feet at EGLL. I really need to be there. Well, this is going to be a bit too exciting. I hope I can see the runway. And VPath, I had it in green, now it's white. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try the approach, arming the approach again. I'm pressing buttons on my physical autopilot panel. Airspeed's all over the place now. And I don't want to be too fast here, and I don't want to be too slow. This weather is really challenging. Okay, when we turn right here, I'm going to try to get the approach armed again. That stall really messed me up. Speed turning right in about less than a mile. There we go. Can't get it. What's going on? Alright. I think I'm on my own here. Well, I don't know if we're going to get vertical guidance to the runway. It sure doesn't look like it. It's about 10 miles ahead, 9.5 miles dead ahead. None of these indicators up here, VPath or GP, are going green. Well, we're still supposed to be at 2,000 feet here. The question is it going to let me go any lower? I've set the altimeter to 1,000, which gives the autopilot permission to descend. Well, this approach doesn't seem to want to arm, so I'm going to have to do it all manually. Try one more time. Well, presumably this is going to take me to the runway, and I'm going to have to put in some flaps, and I don't feel like we're off course here. I'm coming off autopilot, and I'm going to follow this purple arrow to the runway. I had a feeling this wouldn't work out very well, but what I don't want to have to do in this situation is go around. That's... Oh, it just hit. There it is. There's the approach. Okay. Got it. we're going to be, it came up, it worked. It turned itself on. Full flaps right now. Okay, let's see if this baby straightens out. There's the runway, got it in sight. And this little diamond right here, that shows where we are in relation to the glide path. We're a little bit under it. I'm excited that it worked. I never quite know why it doesn't.
Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha, wind 279er at tree 5. Cleared to land runway tree 1.
35 knot crosswind. Oh. Okay, I'm putting the gear down. And let's see if this will line us up with the runway. Yeah.
Cleared to land runway tree 1 Beechcraft
All right.
Oscar Hotel Alpha.
I'm really relieved that it worked. It was getting a little ugly. But this landing could be a little ugly with the crosswind they're reporting. 35 knots. We have about a 47 knot headwind at this point. And it's not like we're heading straight to the runway, however. Flaps are down, gears down. Well, at some point I have to take over, but I'm going to let the autopilot do its thing as long as I dare. It's lining up pretty well. Actually, I'm amazed that it worked. I didn't know what was going on. I'll have to slow down now for sure. I want to be about 90 knots on this white airspeed strip over here. So it's looking pretty good right now. We're right around 99 knots, 95 knots true airspeed. Those red lights up there, 4 red lights, mean that we're a little bit low, but okay, we got quite a crosswind. And I'm going to be fighting that all the way in. Off the autopilot now. Boy, that was terrible.
Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha, turn next taxiway.
Whoa, that was the worst landing ever. But I apologize to all passengers. I need to put you through all that. The wind was something else, though. Okay, well, we're at Le Touquet or Paris Plage, whatever you want to call it.
121.755 for Beechcraft Oscar Hotel Alpha.
Okay. Bienvenue en France. En France. Well, that was an interesting flight and landing, I must say. The landing was one of my worst, bouncing a plane all over the place. But other than that, the landing gear weren't crumpled, or that would have been the end of the flight. So that's it. So here we are at Le Touquet. Oh, look at my cheat sheet. Le Touquet, Côte d'Opale, or Le Touquet, as the co-pilot said, otherwise known as Paris La Plage. Been nice having you along for the video, and at this point I'm just going to say good day.